Hi guys, Ray here, City Fan TV. Hope you're all doing very well. Bit of a quiet day after the 10-1 thrashing of Exeter City. Obviously, next game against Newcastle up in the northeast in the Carabao Cup semi-final. And just thought I'd give you an update on transfers out and what I think may be happening to some players in either this January transfer window or come the summer. Players who will be looking at what the future holds for them. So we're going to start off at the back. I'm going to start off with Stefan Ortega Moreno. Now, he was our last season, he was our second choice keeper, backup keeper to Edison. Obviously, Edison's gone. James Trafford is coming. Talk about him in a minute. And Ortega Moreno, I think, has been pushed down to third choice. So he doesn't get even the cup games, which he would have got last season. I don't think he's played at all for us this season. Looking on the City's website, he's not out on loan. Nothing's happening to him. I don't see why he's still there. He's not going to... he's not even a backup keeper. Now, if James Trafford decides to leave, let's talk about James Trafford as well. If James Trafford decides to leave in the summer because James Trafford's not playing, basically he's second choice, then Ortega Moreno would move back up to first choice reserve. But at 33, is that what he wants? I think he's 33 years old. Is that what he wants? He's how many years has he got left as top flight football? Maybe 3 or 4. I don't think he wants to be a Scott Carson and be a reserve third choice up to your 40. You're getting money all the time. It's nice to get whatever £500,000 a year he's going to get being third choice keeper, but it's I don't see any value. He should have enough money by now to safeguard his future. If it was me, I'd just say I want to go out and play somewhere. Be first choice keeper somewhere. And I still think he's got the ability because we were talking about he played 13 or 16 games for us last season, and there were times when Edison was, let's say, rested or dropped, and Ortega Moreno came in and he was all right. So I don't see why he can't do a good job for another Premier League club or move to somewhere in one of the top 5 leagues. He'll earn plenty of money. You go to somewhere, if he goes back to Germany, I'm sure he'll earn 20, 30 grand a week for the next 5 years. Money's not an issue. For me, if it was me, I'd like to think I want to go out and play. I don't see him having any future at City, even if James Trafford goes, because Donnarumma's 26 or something, so he's not going anywhere potentially for the next 7 or 8 years. Moving on to James Trafford. Now, James Trafford's a different kettle of fish. James Trafford is young. He's only, I think he's 23 years old. Just look at my notes. I think he's 23 years old. He came to City this summer with the idea of replacing Edison, being number 1 at City. That allows him to challenge for the England number 1 spot as well. I think Jordan Pickford has got that sewn up for the World Cup, but after the World Cup, we will, I think, start looking at for the long-term future. Jordan Pickford might hang on for the next Euros, but we'll soon be looking for another top number 1 keeper for England, and James Trafford could have been that guy if he was playing for City full time. As the number 1, then yeah, I can see. Obviously, there's a tremendous value in coming back to City. Forget all about money in these instances. It's not the issue, but the kid needs to play. And as I said, Donnarumma's 26. He could be here for the next 10 years. Now, unless he gets injured, unless his form drops off dramatically, unless he insults Pep, I can't see James Trafford overtaking Donnarumma. I think Donnarumma's sealed in there now. He's locked in. That's the word. He's locked in now. So James Trafford, he's not going to leave now, but I think come the summer, he's going to need some assurances. He's definitely going to need some assurances as to the value, the worth of him staying. Now, we could end up losing Stefan Ortega Moreno and James Trafford in the summer, and we'd have to go and get 2 more keepers, but that's less of an issue for me. But I think, realistically, James Trafford is seriously going to consider his future because I don't see him having one at City. Not in the first team, anyway. So let's look at some of our defenders. Well, Núñez seems to be the fella at right back for now. So let's leave it there. But I still think we need a right back. But I can't see him going anywhere. If we did get someone else to replace him or to be first choice right back, then Nunes could be cover at right back, covering the midfield. I don't see any issues with him staying or going. Johnny Stones is a different kettle of fish. Johnny Stones just isn't playing football. He's hardly played football for the last, I'd say, 5 seasons. He's not. I mean, I probably did some research last season or the season before, and he's hardly figured it at all. You know, he's not even playing half the games in the season. I mean, he might be down to, I think at one stage, I looked at something, it's going back into the depths of my mind, he might have missed 75 or 80% of games for whatever reason, not picked, or mostly due to injury. I can't see Johnny Stones staying after this summer. I just cannot see it. He's 31 years old already, and I think his time's up. If he's not fit enough, he's not. Even when he was fit, he's behind Ruben Dias and Josko Gvardiol, even though both of them are injured. Going forwards, they're still young enough. Dias is 28, I think, be 29 in the summer. Gvardiol's 23, going to be 24, I think, next month. So they're young enough to last another 3 or 4 seasons. Well, certainly Gvardiol can last another 7 or 8. Dias at 28, 29, he's got another 2 or 3 good years in him, I think. So there's no way back for John Stones. And obviously we've got Kushinov coming through. We're still looking for somebody else. If we get Mark Gahey, then, I mean, John Stones is just dropping further down the pecking order. So I think this summer is the end of John Stones. Looking at the others, obviously 8 years just arrived. I think Akanji's out on loan at Inter. I think there's an option to buy. I don't see him coming back. I think he's 30 or 31. Nathan Ake's 30. There was rumours that City were going to allow him to leave this transfer window for 20, 21 million pounds. I've said one of the first videos I did since I came back to the channel, I started doing videos for the channel again, end of December, was I didn't want Ake to leave this window because we didn't have the backup. We didn't have enough cover, senior cover. And look what's transpired. We've lost our 2 main centre-backs. Johnny Stones is not anywhere in sight. Where we've had to call Max Elaine back from loan at Watford to take his first game in the Premier League, first game for City. He's had 2 games already now. I suspect he's going to play against Newcastle as well. So I see Nathan Ake. I'm glad he's staying for the time, and I don't think he will go. Even if we get Mark Gahey, we can't afford to let him go. But I see come the summer, he'll be 31. I think by the summer he's 30 now. I just don't see any future for Nathan Ake at City. If he's only getting game time now because of other injuries, and we will be looking for the centre backs, and we're not going to go and get old centre backs to be 4th choice. We're looking at people who can be first or second choice. We're looking at people at the level of Gvardiol, at the level of Dias. Okay, that's where Matt Gahey comes in. So I don't see Akanji or Ake being around next season. So that's pretty much, I think, most of the defence covered. Let's look at some midfielders. There's going to be a lot of upheaval in midfield. Why? Because we've got a lot of players in. Okay, now we got Nico Gonzalez, who's 24. Rodri's 29, and I don't see Rodri going, even though there's rumours that Real Madrid are interested. But with those 2 guys in, for argument's sake, the defensive midfield position, what's left for Kovacic? I think he's played 1 game in total this season before he was injured. Kovacic as well is about 31. I think he's 31 years old. So he's got, right now, definitely Rodri's ahead of him, and probably Nico Gonzalez. If Kovacic just come back in the next few months, it's going to take him time to get up to speed. He's 31. So again, I don't see much future for Kovacic at City. So I can see him saying, that's it. Calvin Phillips, he's 30 years old. I mean, look, he's nothing against Calvin and everything else, but he's around. He is never going to be picked by City. He couldn't get picked by City for the game against Exeter City in the FA Cup. He wasn't even on the bench. Calvin Phillips, is just hanging around. I don't think he's been out on loan. I can't see any future for Calvin Phillips at City. It's best for him just to move on. Yes, he's going to pick up a lot of money. Yes, he might win some titles at City by being here, but best for him and his career that he moves on. So who else have we got in midfield? Well, we've got Jack Grealish, 30 years old, out on loan at Everton at the moment. No, I don't see any future for Jack Grealish. Out wide, we've got some players who might leave, but we've just got Semenyo. Okay, Jack Grealish was surplus to requirements before we got Semenyo. And we got Doku. Those are going to be our first choice wide men at the moment. So I don't see any future for Jack. Hopefully, look, going to Everton has resurrected his career a little bit. He's got a lot of assists. Maybe he can get, be on the periphery of getting back into the England squad. I don't see it personally. But I think the future for Jack is away from Manchester City. Now, we've also got Oscar Bob. Now, the worrying thing for Oscar Bob, he's 22 years old. Wasn't in the squad. Was he in the squad against Exeter? I got that right. But I don't think he was off the top of my head, but he certainly didn't play. So what's the future for Oscar Bob? Out wide, Semenyo Doku. Something's got to give. And Bob's only 22. I'll throw in Savinho as well. He's 21. There was interest for both of these players. I mean, there was interest from Spurs at a lot of money in the summer for Savinho. There's Oscar Bob and Savinho. Already they're behind Semenyo and Doku. Okay, we can still play Cherky out wide. We can still play Foden out wide. We've got Omar Mamouche, talk about him. He can play around a bit as well. So, and we've got Bernardo Silva. So I see out wide Bernardo, Savinho, Semenyo. Sorry, Bernardo, get it right. Bernardo, Doku, and Semenyo. Okay, 2 out of those 3 will be our wide men, probably, for most of the rest of the season. I don't see a long-term future for Savinho because he's had his opportunity. Yes, he's only 21. He might make it. He might come good. But he's just not calm and collected. I just don't see that in his makeup, and he needs to be. He's missed far too many chances. Last season, I said give him time. This season, I say his time is up. So I don't see any future for Savinho. I don't see any future for Oscar Bob. Now, it might be, and I think the value is, because they're so young, we could send them out on loan. I mean, I think we should send somebody out on loan. Now, we can send them to Spain, to go to Girona, maybe to Troyes in France, even though that's second tier. But I think we should be sending them out on loan to give them experience. And maybe the switch is turned on and Savinho suddenly develops some, calmness, develops some clinical finishing and clinical decision making. Maybe that happens. Maybe, as well for Bob. Bob needs time. He needs to get out and play. But also, I just think unless something happens for them soon, they're gone. I can't see any future for them either. So who's left? Bernardo Silva. Let's talk about Bernardo Silva. Now, Bernardo is, I won't say an elder statesman. He's 31. It's been talked for about 4 or 5 seasons that he's going to be leaving. I think his contract is up at the end of the season. And this may well be the season that Bernardo Silva leaves, especially if the next person I'm going to talk about leaves as well. Well, I'll come back to the next, an important person in the jigsaw. So Bernardo's 31. He'll not get another great move. He's still at a good age. He's still got a lot in his tank, I think. If he wants to do one more big move to a big club, this is his final opportunity to do that. Alternatively, he can stay at City. He's a club legend, whatever way you look at it. He's been here long enough. But he could stay, for another couple of years and then go off for a swan song somewhere else. On one hand, we do need some of these older players, because if you look at the players that are coming through and how old they are, we don't have too many, I won't call them elder statesmen, but senior players at the club, especially if we can have a big turnaround and people like Kovacic leave, people like Stones leave, and Aki and Akanji in the summer. We're not going to have, and Bernardo as well, that's what I'm talking about, and Grealish is probably gone. We're not going to have a lot of senior players, because we'll have enough. I still think we'll have enough senior players, but we've got a lot of youngsters. And I like some senior players. I think you need them. But going forwards, we've still got Diaz. He's 28, senior player. Gvardiol, I think he counts as a senior player now. He's 23, 24. Foden, you think he's just a kid, but he's 25 years old. Haaland, 25 years old. Rodri, 29 years old. So I think we've got probably 5 senior players there who have been at City for 2 to 5+ years. Diaz has been here for many years. Foden's been here for many years. Rodri's been here for many years. Haaland, this is his 4th season. Gvardiol, 3rd season, I think. So they're getting to be that elder statesman. But I mean, you can tell how inexperienced at City a lot of the players are. That Rico Lewis for a while was captain on the pitch before Bernardo came on Saturday against Exeter. Rico Lewis, I haven't mentioned him. So I'm going to mention Rico Lewis. I'll mention a couple of players that I haven't, and I should have done. It's my mistake. Rico Lewis is only 21 years old. He's featured 16 times, 16 appearances for City this season, but not many starts. Okay, not many top-level starts. And I think he comes on late in games to help shut up shop kind of thing. So he's at a crossroads of his career, like Cole Palmer was at City, like some people thought Foden was, and one or two other younger players coming through. Now, Rico Lewis, he's got his start, he played pretty well, scored 2 goals, I think he created 1 or 2 as well, against Exeter. But his issue, again, there's too many players ahead of him. He can't come in at right back, where he has played a little bit, even pushing Kyle Walker out for a while. But Nunes has got that. Can't play midfield. There's too many players in midfield. Too many players. As a defensive midfielder, Nico, Rodri, Gonzalez, Kovacic as well. So there's a lot of players in that defensive midfield area. Looking at attacking midfield, a lot of players. I mean, O'Reilly wants to play in attacking midfield. We've got Foden. We've got Cherki. Got Marmoush. Out wide, you've got Bernardo Semenyo and Doku and Savinho. There's too many players, I think. I think Rico Lewis has got to look at his future, because he did play 5 times for England. He did come through. And I think his future, he's going to be in a tough spot, because obviously he's a City lad. He's come through the ranks. And you want to make it. If you've come through the ranks, you want to make it at your boyhood club. But he's going to be in a situation where he's got to think, where am I getting in? He's a useful, versatile utility player, but he's got to be at that, considering where are we going to start. Now, I would suggest he could go to many clubs in the Premier League and be a starter for them somewhere in fullback or in midfield. But I'm not sure about a top 6 club, because he just hasn't got enough experience, and he's not getting enough experience. So he's going to look at that and say, if I want to resurrect my England career, if I want to, I want to be playing football, I need to be playing football now. Now, he might say, I'll stick it out for after the summer, another year. I'll see what happens. A new manager might come in, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. And he might think, I'll get another opportunity. But again, he's another one that I think has to consider his future. We've got also another defender, Vitor Reis. He's only 20 years old. I think it's his birthday today. Happy birthday, Vitor. I don't think he'll be watching this video. It's his birthday today. He's out on loan at Girona, I think. I think he's played 18 games, 2 goals for them. So you could argue he's part of the future, hopefully, as well. He'll come back. I've gone through almost everybody. He's Omar Marmoush. I haven't really talked much about. He's out on AFCON with Egypt. He's a funny one. He came in for a lot of money, nearly, was it best part 60 million quid, and he's 26 years old. But I don't know where he fits in. Again, when I'm looking at players who are ahead of Omar Marmoush, obviously you've got Haaland, you've got Semenyo. I mean, these are your attacking players. Haaland, Semenyo, Doku, Foden, Cherki, Bernardo. There's 6 players ahead of Omar Marmoush. Omar Marmoush, when he comes back, he's going to be fighting against the likes of Oscar Bob, Savinho. I don't think he's in their category, but these are the players. You've got, I probably mentioned 7 players there, attacking players, who are ahead of Omar Marmoush, in the pecking order. So what does that mean for Omar Marmoush? If Haaland goes, yes, there's an opportunity there, but you want Omar Marmoush to be playing either with Haaland or out wide, potentially an attacking midfielder. He can take some of the strain off Haaland. If you need to rest Haaland's playing too much. But is that what Omar Marmoush wants? 26 years old, coming into the prime of his career. Now, it may be that he won't get anywhere near the money he's getting at City somewhere else. That might be a major part of his judgment as to what he does in the future. So he might just think, well, whatever. He might be on 200 grand a week at City. He'll not get that somewhere else. But I think if he wants to play football, he's going to have to look at that. How long? I mean, it's a difficult question to answer. How long do you hang around to see if you can make it? How long do you knock on that door, bang, 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 trying to get breakthrough before you say, I can't make it here? You don't know what's going to happen. I mean, I go back in time and talk about Fabian Delph and Zinchenko playing at left back for City. Yeah. They hung around. They got the opportunities, unexpected opportunities. I mean, let me just remember. We had Mendy at left back. Then he got injured, Benjamin Mendy. And then I think, I can't remember who took over Delph. I think it was Delph. And then suddenly he was injured and Zinchenko gets in. So Zinchenko's maybe starts the season as third choice, as no choice left back. He's a DM, I think, really. And he ends up being left back. He's probably third choice. He ends up playing a lot of games, and he makes a position for him. So you don't know what's going to happen. Yeah, like we're talking about the goalkeepers. Donnarumma might get injured, and so might James Trafford, and suddenly Ortega Moreno is thrust into the limelight again. But I just don't see that happening. But it's unlikely. But you never know. But Omar Moushi is going to have to look at it as well and say, is there any future? What's the future for me here? What am I going to get out of this? Am I going to get game time? And he, look, however much he might be committed and motivated and determined to succeed, there is going to be an element of thinking, can I make it? So that's an issue for him. So that's going to be another interesting one. We could be losing a lot of players. I mean, I think, seriously, we could be losing Stones, Kovacic, Aki. Akanji's gone already, but let's include Akanji. I think we could be losing in the summer James Trafford. That's 5. Ortega Moreno, that's 6. Grealish, that's 7. Calvin Phillips, that's 8. Bernardo, 9. Maybe Savinho, 10. There's 10 players we could be losing. Maybe Rico Lewis as well. That's 11. Wow. 10 that is a major, major turnaround. And I think the biggest thing of them all is Pep. We don't know what's going to happen with Pep. Now, Pep, he's been here a long time. He's got 18 months left on his contract, or just a bit under. He says he's got that much time. He's going to see it to the end of his contract. But we've seen that, or we've heard the rumours that Enzo Maresca was talking to City about taking over from Pep. Now, they didn't say the timeline when that would be, but he was talking in October. Now, I'm not sure. I don't think you're talking October 2025 about taking over in the summer of 2027 when Pep's contract finishes. I don't see that. That's 18 months. That's a long, long time. I don't see that at all. I see you talking in October and talking again in November or December about taking over in the summer. So that's where I'm at. And Pep might say, I've got 18 months left, but they might come to some agreement, especially if we win the league or the Champions League. He might say, if we do the double, he might say, or we do the treble, he might say, that's enough. Do the quadruple. He might say, that's enough. I can't take you any further. And there's also the rumour, I mean, I saw this last week, I've not heard much about it, so it might just be a made-up thing, that Luis Enrique is not going to sign a new contract at PSG, and his contract is up in the summer. Honestly, guys, hands up. I don't know when his contract is up. I don't know much about this, but that's something I read or saw last week. Now, if he's available, that's another name into the hat. I don't think Kompany's in the hat yet for City, but I don't think he'd be far away. So you could have an option of Enzo. I mean, who would you get? Let's be honest, Enzo Maresca or Luis Enrique. If it was me, Luis Enrique every single time. And then maybe in 4 or 5 years, Kompany comes in. That seems to me like a good succession. So if Enrique is available, that might be another option that we see. And Pep says, my time's up. Especially, as I said, if we win something major, if we win the Champions League or the league, coming from 6 points behind, win that Champions League. We're still in 4 trophies. I don't see us winning 4 trophies. I'm always happy if we win 1. But something remarkable could happen for the rest of the season. We could win loads of stuff. And Pep says that's it. That's enough. And we get somebody else in. So it'll be really, really interesting to see what happens with all these players. It's, as I said, it's going to be a major, major upheaval this summer. I'm not sure how much money we're going to get in, but I think we're going to get a lot of money in as well. Maybe some players will go for nothing. Some players will go for less than they're worth. But if I don't know what if Stones has got much left in his contract, I don't think we'll get much from him anyway. But I think we'd get something for Kovacic. Certainly, if we let Oscar Bob go, we'd be pushing someone for, I think, 30 million for Oscar Bob. I think if we let Trafford go, we'd be looking for at least 30 million for him. That's 60 million. Rico Lewis, I might only go for 10 or 15. But you're up to about 70 million. Grealish, we might take 10 or 15. That's 80 million. Savinho would look at 50. That's 130. One or two other bits and pieces. Ake, we were happy with 20. So I think we could get 150 million pounds in the summer. And if Marmoush goes, that gets up to 200 million quid. That is a huge amount of money. We'll have lots of gaps, and we'll have to fill those gaps. But it'll be a really, really interesting transfer window. This window to see who we get and see if anybody leaves. And next window, I think that's going to be huge, where I can see up to 10, 11, or even 12 players leaving Manchester City. Guys, let me know what you think. What do you think of the future of those players I've mentioned? Have I missed anybody out that I should have mentioned? I don't think so. I've probably talked about everybody that has a potential chance to leave. I think I've covered them, hopefully covered them all. Let me know what you think. Let me know who you think's going to leave, who you think should stay, and if you want, who you think we should be getting either now or in the summer. Guys, if you're new to the channel, it would be fantastic if you could subscribe. If you can hit that bell icon, you'll be notified as soon as new videos come out. And if you can give us a thumbs up, it's always nice to get a thumbs up. We'll see you around, Blues.